going on, Gaming Nation? We are back with another episode presented by Fandoms Anonymous. It's going down today. We are talking about a beta that happened just this weekend. Today, as of the day of recording, which is, of course, Saturday the 11th, or Sunday the 11th. Sorry, we're not quite that forward ahead in time. Thank you, Daylight Savings Time. It is the first week, and I'm sorry if you got an hour sucked out of your life. It happens. You'll get it back later. So, we're talking about Tera. Which, of course, was released long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. In Korea, the 25th of January in 2011, and in North America, 1st of May 2012. This game is that old, ladies and gentlemen, from anywhere from 6 to 7 years, but it's finally making its way over to consoles, and a lot of people are really excited about it. We'll get more into that in just a second. I want to go ahead and get everybody on file, get the roll call going with the panelists. We are short one today, but I'm sure, like most of you, he's behind an hour because of daylight savings time, so we'll forgive him this time. I'm just kidding. We're just giving him crap. We love you, Dan. Dan will not be with us today, but we do have Daryl and myself here. Daryl, what's going on, my brother?
What's up, man? Hey, the only reason why I'm up because I didn't go to sleep last night, so I probably would have missed it too. I would have been behind an hour.
He's also been playing Tera, and when you get into an MMO, you become a junkie, so you just stay awake all night. That's all there is to it. It's Mountain Dew and video games. And of course, I'm Clay from Tales of the Blade, and we are here getting ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, cue the intro. All right, so again, we are talking about Tera, just released as a beta for this past weekend, which happened from the 9th through the 11th. So again, as of the date of recording, it is the last day of the beta. So we're going to talk about some initial points of it. So first of all, this game was developed by Bluehole Studio. Now, if anybody is familiar with the game PUBG or Public Battlegrounds, that thing, then yeah, you're battle royale, whatever you want to call it. You're familiar with Bluehole Studio. Now, that leads me to believe that with the success of PUBG, they may have had the capital coming in to actually fund the transition of a console game, or of Tera to a console game, because the Tera was initially released for the PC, and it was released again back in 2011 for Korea, 2012 for North America, and then a couple days later in Europe. And now it's being released in 2018, which is awesome. It is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Anyone who's familiar with that understands games like World of Warcraft, EverQuest, and some of the lesser-known games, which are still really awesome. Black Gold Online, Black Desert Online, and a few other really cool titles. I suggest you guys check all of them out. Publishers include in Korea, NHN Corporation, North America, and Mass Entertainment, and Europe, Gameforge. So there are a lot of really good names there. It was initially developed in the Unreal Engine 3, which, most games are being developed in Unreal Engine 4, so you might notice that inside the game itself. But I have to say, because this is really synonymous with Korean-based MMOs, they're beautiful. They are gorgeous. They have wonderful looking worlds. The characters are very creative, very well drawn. The female characters leave a lot to be discussed and debated, of course, when you get into the plate mail bikini aspect. But yeah, that was.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I made a female character. I'm sorry.
I mean, when you get in the mentality of making female characters, because even in in MMOs like that, some of the males, especially like the human males, they're often really beefy and massive, and it's like, okay, exactly. So we went like hardcore roid rage with the dudes, but with the girls, we just made them really thick around the thigh area, and got that booty popping like whoa, and then that's what you want to see while you're walking around, right? I mean, I get it. When you're playing a game where you're viewing the backside of your character 95% of the time, you really want to kind of see something that's worth seeing. But if you're staring at your character, you're playing the game all wrong. Look at the scenery. Look at the monsters that you're about to die from. So let's talk about that for a second. Daryl, let's get your first impressions on what's going on, man. And while we're talking about this, I will put the initial trailer up right here. There you go. Go for it.
The game is beautiful. It's like you said, it's very, very beautiful. And I like the character design. As far as in, character creation, they didn't give me many choices to choose from,
No.
but it's not bad. I've had worse.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
mean,
definitely.
yeah, the character creation it's okay. As far as in different classes, kind of wish there was more classes to choose from,
Hmm.
but it gave me enough. And as far as the, I guess, we say with the races, um, there's only I mean, about four good ones, I guess.
Okay.
So I mean, that wasn't bad because I mean, every time I play a game like this, I would choose some type of elf anyway.
Yeah.
So basically, that's all I do anyway. But I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. Okay. As far as in getting to the game, it's a lot of stuff that oh, there's I guess you could say a little nitpicks here and there. Like I know most MMOs are like that, but
Hmm.
with the jump button, you gotta press two buttons to jump. Oh, that's kind of a little annoying to me. I like using jump, with my attacks.
Yeah.
Games like in with the Elder Scrolls Online,
Yeah.
you was able to use your jump with your attacks. But that's just like a little nitpicking here and there. Um, Now, I don't know if this is going to be into because this is a beta, so I don't know. You might know this answer.
Hmm.
A lot of the characters when you're talking to them, they just say a couple of words, but what you're reading,
Hmm.
they don't say those things. So, does it have voiceovers? I don't know. Do it?
I mean, my knowledge. I don't want to say my knowledge because it's locked in there somewhere. But me remembering what it was like on the PC because it was so many years ago, and I have played so many games since then. Actually, 2011 and 2000 MMOs all together. Um, that was when I was heavy into raiding on EverQuest 2 and things like that. From what I can remember, it's not really like heavy into voiceovers, and that may have be from budgeting issues. I mean, you can only get so many people to say so many things at so many points in time without having to pay a whole bunch of voice acting fees, et cetera, and so forth. You're paying these
Well, I
people by
just
the
see.
by the hour. I mean, so
Yeah. Well, see, obviously that becoming a problem. Like when I was playing the game, I got to know it with reading.
mhm,
Okay, so I just started pushing buttons through the dialogue,
right,
and I missed some things, and
yeah, that
then I don't
that
know what to
happens.
do. So, but they do have the way where you can go back and read your quest. So I do like that.
Hmm.
So, not they're just not having that. Can what's the word I'm looking for? Like maybe kind of breaking the immersion to the game.
Right, yeah,
So I don't know. I wish they would have had that. I think they would have made me feel more immersed. If I'm
immersed,
using the right
yeah,
word,
immersed, yeah.
immersed. Yes.
Yeah, you're
you
right, you're
know,
right, you got it.
into the game. I just wish they would have had that. So, I mean, I think I'm level 20,
Hmm.
and I can't tell you. I don't know what's going on here. You know, I don't know
You
what's
know,
going on.
I feel you on that. I really, really do. I mean, I was actually a lore hunter in EverQuest 2. I was one of those guys that
Hmm.
literally would sit there and, in my free time when I wasn't out adventuring because they had a house system, I would have books that you could collect in game and have them strewn out through my house, and I would literally sit there and I would read them, and I would have a separate window inside the game open for books that you could write in, and I would literally just sit there and record notes as in my own journal. So I was the guy that people went to ask questions about certain deities and like the what certain quests were about, and I enjoyed doing things like that. Nowadays I don't do that anymore. But we do have online, YouTube professional lore hunters like Vadi Vidya, who does the Soulsborne series, and he's very very good at hunting these things down. But that is a common issue in MMOs and games like this is so many times, people just want to go, okay, what's the quest update? What do I do? Where do I go? Do I go over here? Do I fetch this? What's going on? Do I kill how many of this? Okay, cool. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know why I'm killing them. I just want you to point me in the direction and let me go slaughter things. I got to get the next level. I got to get the next chainmail bikini. It has to happen right now. And I get it. I understand the issue, because especially like when a new patch or a new update or a new expansion goes live, because you want to be the first to discover everything. You want to be the first to run around. It's like, oh my god, I want to experience everything that I can. I only have so long to do it. And I'm like, oh, I mean, not really. Even if you don't get all the way through the beta and see everything that the beta has to offer, which I understand the necessity to do so, you're still going to get the full version later on, and it kind of leaves a little bit to the imagination. You don't get all the way through the beta and then you go back through the actual release and go, okay, well, they changed this, they changed that, that's better, that's worse, what's going on here, what happened here? It leaves something to kind of go, huh, okay, cool. So I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
As far as in the story goes.
Okay, yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, let's circle back to the story. There we go. So it does become really easy to overlook everything that's being said in dialogue, especially if they don't do voiceovers, which some people would end up skipping anyway if they had like a skip feature to it. Like, I mean, that they do the same thing in like Mass Effect games. It's like, okay, I have to make a decision now. Why am I making this decision? What decision am I making? So I get it. I get why people, do that. But at the same time, it does detract a little bit. And there is little incentive to sit there and have to read through everything when most people just want everything read for them. And I understand that. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I am, because I like to say, like, they have a good voice actor, just talking right. I mean, I love that. I mean, I very rarely skip over, dialogues, because I want to listen. I mean, I'll play the game for the story. That's the main reason why I play the game. I play the game for the. I love the story.
Yeah.
I love the gameplay too, but I love the story. And with that one, I find myself skipping, most of the story, because I get so bored of reading. I'm reading so much, I get so bored of reading.
I can understand that. Yeah, no, I get that entirely. So I mean, I could definitely see where you would come from with that, and I mean, like I said, it takes an individual who wants to take the time to really explain the story, and there are a lot of people who do it. Like I said, there are professional YouTubers who are lore hunters, not just necessarily for games like the Soul series, which kind of hides their story within dialogue and architecture and then the description of items, which is the most cryptic way they could have possibly done it. But it makes it really interesting that you have to search for those things. And then you have the same thing pretty much I mean, you and me can attest to this in Destiny. How much lore is presented in game versus how much you have to read into because of the lore tabs on weapons and armor.
Yeah.
So there's a lot you can miss.
Yeah. Things like that one, I think I like those when when they have messages hidden messages you have to read to find out. Now I like those, like going hunting for different like Easter eggs and stuff you want to have to read to find out this stuff about.
Right.
So
right.
I kind of like things like that.
Yep, and that's exactly what you run into a lot.
Yeah, but as far as that, I mean, the gameplay, I mean, I like it. I like the gameplay. And most MMOs, is almost like, just button pushing really.
Yeah.
But this game, I feel like I'm actually playing a game because it's kind of fast paced.
Right.
It's much faster than any other MMO I ever played.
So let's talk about that for a second. And I want to lay a basic premise, like you were just saying about MMOs in general. Really, it's kind of a positioning thing. Like if you had the tank, and the tank has to pull the mob in a certain direction and face the target away from like your DPS and your healers, because of the fact that most mobs, and you'll see this even in Tera with the fact that they telegraph necessarily where they're going to be striking. So anything in like the red square in front of them is going to be affected by their next attack. So if you're standing outside of that, you're good. And that's what happened a lot in other games, except they didn't telegraph it. They didn't show you where they were going to hit. So you had to have the tank having the mob in front, and everybody else was literally right behind the mob, because sometimes they had greater than 180 range with their frontal attacks. So you had your DPS back there, you had your healers back there, and you had your supports back there as well. And that's the basic premise of this. But now that this is a much more action-based system, you're going to have people moving around a lot more often. But the cool thing about that, again, is the fact that the enemy will show you, hey, I'm going to hit here. If anybody's in this spot when I hit, you're going to get hit. And that's it. So, on that note, how do you feel that would compare, just from the knowledge of that?
I kind of really don't like MMOs like that,
right?
Because it makes it a little bit too easy for me. Because okay. I mean, you gonna tell me where you're gonna attack? Of course I'm gonna move.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I want to be surprised. Okay, you know, if you want to tell me, yeah, I'm gonna hit you with my left hand. Okay, I'll need to block that left hand. But if you surprise me, it's good. So I think, you know, sometimes with MMOs like that, you make it a little bit too easy. You know, and I noticed in a game like you know, it's a lot. You tell them where you're gonna hit. Okay, now you're gonna use you know, you're using a move where you're gonna strike, you know, everything around you.
Right.
All I gotta do is get out the red square, you know, and I'm fine.
Just joust out of the range of the AE, as we'd call it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, bad. It just, to me, I think it makes it a little bit too easy. So I hope they can have a feature that you can turn it off.
Yeah, I mean,
add that in.
I mean, I didn't get too much into the beta, so I didn't really have a chance to sit down and check all the features of it out. But if there is already one, Blue Hole, I do apologize. But maybe we can include that feature after the beta, you know, include the ability to turn off the telegraph, to kind of give some of the more adventurous players a little bit more of an opportunity to say, okay, to learn the mob's methods and attacks the harder way, which would be cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what you have to do in MMOs. I mean, you got to learn those mechanics.
Yeah,
you got to keep on playing, and you learn those mechanics. And you know how he's gonna strike and where he's gonna strike without actually seeing a light. They're telling you where they're gonna strike at.
Right, and I will say this. I will say this though. If you look at the trend of most games and how like I'll even go into more action-based titles like the Dark Souls series, how both bosses and even in PvP, when players different move sets and different actions that these creatures and players will take are oftentimes telegraphed in some way, shape, or form, giving you an idea where they're going to hit, how they're going to hit, and how you have to react in that split moment. And it takes a little while to get used to that. But the difference between that and MMOs is that in an MMO, you oftentimes have very limited animations, whereas in a much more open or developed game like the Soul series, everything is very fluid, and you can see every single motion that they're taking a little bit more so before they actually make impact with the attack. So there is kind of a curve in that, but I could definitely see that them adding something that actually takes off that you know, hitbox, so that way you know where it's going to hit. Aside from that, aside from gameplay and the character creation, comes let's just take a look at the world itself. You know, from what I was looking at, it looked, what's the best way I can describe it without being insulting? To compare it to, I'm not trying to be negative right off the back. I'm really not. But there's a lot we can compare it to right now, and it would actually be, I would say, unfair to compare it to that in certain situations. Like if you were to say try to compare it because of the extravagance of the weapons and armor. If you were to try to compare it to a game which has a similar setup like Monster Hunter or like the Xenoblade Chronicles, it would actually be a little bit unfair because these games are developed in much more recent engines and have a lot more capability in creating a much more lush environment. So I don't want to compare. Go ahead.
maybe to I say Neverwinter.
Okay, yeah, no,
that's
that's
how I feel like
fair.
he is.
That's fair.
Yeah, because Monster Hunter World, that's unfair to compare to Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, no, I can't do that because Monster Hunter World is gorgeous.
Yes.
It has so much going on. It has so much wonderful aspects to it, but I'm not going to sit there and compare it to it because that would be unfair. So to give this game all the credit that it's due, let's remind our viewers that it is developed in the Unreal Engine 3, which is a previous engine to the Unreal Engine 4, obviously because of the number, but there's a lot of difference in quality between the 3 and the 4. So, with that being said, I would best compare it to a game which I hold very near and dear to my heart, so understand that there is some love coming from here. Star Ocean 4 has a very similar environmental aspect to it. In certain views, I guess if you really got close to it and tried to view it a little too closely, some of the environment does look flat. But the way they colorize it and the way they texture it, it does bring an aspect to it that gives a little bit more realism and a little bit more feel to it and a little bit more depth to the feeling. So I will give it that credit. But Dan, or Daryl, I'm actually very curious to hear how you felt about it.
About the world?
Yeah, the
in
world,
general?
the scenery, the landscape.
I mean, I like it. I mean, to me, I was just at times I got on my mount and was just running around, just
Yeah,
looking at everything. I mean, to me, I feel like it's a beautiful game. It's gorgeous.
yeah,
I like it. Like I said, even though it's a previous engine or older engine, it still looks good. I mean, it wasn't too cartoony,
mm-hmm.
and it wasn't like I say, it wasn't the best graphics, but it wasn't bad at all. And I mean, like I said, I just got on my mount and just saw it just running around, just looking at different stuff. I even hopped in the water and started swimming. I
Okay.
couldn't dive, but I can swim. So I mean, I like the world. It's not bad. Like it's not the best. It's not bad.
No, it's definitely not necessarily the best. And again, I'm not going to sit here and try to compare it to other games because that would be
Yeah.
unfair to it. That would be like taking the wonderful game that everybody loves, not necessarily myself, but everybody loves, World of Warcraft, and compare it to a game like Black Desert Online, which is unreal. If you guys have not seen that game, it is gorgeous. The character creation system is amazing.
The
It would
PC
be
game too.
it is a PC game, and it is a high-end PC game. The character creation system in that
Ooh.
game is probably one of the greatest character creation systems in the world. There are a few exceptions, but I won't bring that up on this show. For various reasons. It was an article that was shared in my Facebook feed that I won't go into. You can check out the discussion maybe later on the Gaming Nation page. Make sure you guys go over there to the Facebook page for Gaming Nation. Subscribe. We'll have that discussion later. Because it's a little bit more mature. I'll say that. But it is a really well done character creation system in Black Desert. But to compare it to other games like World of Warcraft would actually be unfair because everybody has their own style of doing things. So in this case, like Daryl mentioned, I keep saying Dan. We miss you, Dan. Like Daryl mentioned earlier, it's just nothing but love for you, brother. There's an empty hole there we're trying to fill. Like Daryl mentioned earlier, the character creation system is slightly limited, and it is. You have like a select amount of faces that you can switch from, and this, that, and the other, and that's okay. But so eventually you're going to run into somebody who looks just like you, and I get it. As far as classes are concerned, my final impressions on that is the fact that they do offer, at the very least, difference in playstyle builds, so you can build your playstyle to fit you. In addition to that, button mapping and stuff like that. So you will see people playing a little bit differently than others. But I'm sure, because of the type of game it is, there will be a meta eventually, which, for people who don't know what that means, meta, M-E-T-A, most effective tactic available. So you will see things like that happening. Again, it's still in beta, still in early phase, so we'll see how they work out the kinks for this game. Any final
Yeah.
thoughts, Daryl?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it is beta, and they got a ton of bugs.
Yep.
Ton of bugs. Me and a buddy was playing earlier, and the game kept crashing. Well, we both got frustrated. I mean, a lot of crashes. But like we said, this is beta, so it can't be too hard on them about that one. That's
No.
why you gotta sit in feedback.
Yep.
That's what they want. Okay, when you get game crashes like this during beta, send in your feedback about where the game crashed at. Okay, if you like the game, that helps this game out. Like if you was at a certain map, a point in time, send them the feedback and let them know when it happened. It helps this game get better if you like this game.
Right. Yeah.
The game is fun. I don't see myself as of right now, like playing it I don't see myself playing it for a long term.
Right.
I don't see that. But it is a fun game, and when it does get released, of course I'm gonna still play some more to check it out because I had a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
When the game wasn't crashing and I wasn't running into bugs, I mean, me and my buddy we played and we had a lot of fun with it. There's a few things that can work out, can make it easier. With the quests, because the quests get confusing and sometimes you gotta figure things out.
Right.
So they could work on that, but overall, I think it's an okay game. I want to try it out when the game get released.
Yeah, I mean, definitely give it a shot. I mean, don't take a beta as the end all be all for the game. They always work things out. At the time, I bring to mind Warframe. When it was first out, played it on beta, and then during its initial release, I played it for a little while, and it was pretty much the same game, with a few things that got added during the developmental phase, and but now it's a completely different game. It is completely different. It was very involved in the community and how it wanted to grow, and it just became its own thing, which is just incredible now. So we could see the very same thing happen with Tera, and so I definitely encourage all of you listening out there to please give it a check, or check it out when it comes out. If you haven't already started playing it or haven't been playing it on PC, maybe they might even change something from PC to console. We don't know yet. There's still a lot that can be done in development. So Blue Hole Studios, if you're listening, take this feedback into consideration, and I know you will. But this is our criticism to y'all. Please support them in this. I mean, obviously y'all love PUBG, and so I'm sure we'll see something great happen with Tera, so give that a shot. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you guys for listening. I really enjoy bringing up discussions like this, and I really am bringing up topics like this to get y'all's feedback on. But it is that time of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Coming Up. Daryl, what's your Coming Up selection for this week?
Ooh. Man, I'm glad I got to go first. I'm glad I got to go first because I thought Dan was gonna be here and he might get it before me, but I got to go first. Smash Brothers is coming to the Switch. Smash Brothers is coming to the Switch.
Yep.
I gotta get a Switch. Oh man,
I already got one.
How many times have we said it before? If all Nintendo has to do is say New Super Smash Brothers, and everybody's like, Switch.
Exactly. I gotta get a Switch now. Well, so I mean, from just the trailer itself, it looks like it's gonna be so much fun. I mean, they had the Splatoon characters going at it and doing everything, and it had more. I mean, it just looked crazy. And I know it's gonna be good, so I gotta get a Switch. Only thing I'm worried about, is it gonna be a new Smash Brothers, or is it just gonna be a port that's upgraded? I'm kind of wondering about that, but it don't matter. I'm still gonna get it. I gotta get a Switch.
Yeah, that's always a question you have to ask. Like, is it just gonna be a port of another game? And honestly, I wouldn't even care if it was. It's just Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. Let's just go. Let's just do it. Add some new characters. Just go ahead and include all the characters that you made us buy for DLC, like Bayonetta and Ryu and Cloud. That'd be great.
Yeah, but more than likely, it's gonna be a port because I doubt if it's gonna be a new Smash Bros. Coming out this fast.
Yeah,
I don't think so. And it's because it's coming out this year. Probably fall.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
So
So that does sound good. I could very well sit here and say my coming up segment is God of War, which we covered in our last episode. But yeah, that's right around the corner, April 20th. So, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to something that I've probably said before, but I'm going to say it again. Dark Souls remastered for the Switch. We just saw some new amiibos that got posted, so it got me even more excited about it. So all I can sit here and say is Dark Souls remastered for the Switch with the Solaire amiibo, the Ornstein amiibo, and the Gravelord Nito amiibo, which I'm very, very excited about. So you'll see pictures of that on what you're viewing right now, and of course we will post that later in the Gaming Nation fan page on Facebook.
It's doing their thing, ain't it? I mean, they is doing it. I mean, it's so many games are coming to the Switch.
I mean,
wow!
Like we've said it before, they're pushing the envelope on the transition from mobile gaming to console gaming. So who knows? We might see something even bigger come of that.
Nintendo, listen to me, Nintendo. Okay, y'all are winning. Okay, I mean y'all are winning right now. Okay, but if y'all want to win more, talk to Rockstar. That's all you gotta do. Go down there, see to talk to Rockstar, and I'm pretty sure y'all gonna be killing the game. Okay, talk to Rockstar.
I would say that's pushing the envelope a little bit, especially with the content rating. But I mean, they did get Bayonetta 2 and how many F-bombs they dropped in the first 30 seconds of the game. Yeah, Enzo, watch your mouth. But that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all again so much. Daryl, where can we find you, my brother?
Man, of course you can find us every week here on Gaming Nation. You can find me on the Fandoms and Anonymous channel. I'm always there. Come to the page and jump into the discussion with us. We'll love to have you.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm Clay from Tales of the Blade. You can find me on the Facebook page, Tales of the Blade, also Tales of the Blade YouTube channel, and of course, right here on Gaming Nation every week, and on the Fandoms Anonymous YouTube channel, and the Fandoms Anonymous Facebook page, where we have discussions all the time. It's a fantastic time, but you all know about that, or maybe you didn't, because if you didn't know who we are Fandoms Anonymous, FANDOMS, We're all over social media right now. You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, and I think I covered all that. Yeah, didn't I? All right, there we go. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything else, thanks for listening and have a good one. Hey there, Gaming Nation. You're at the end of the video, and if you're still here, I just wanted to take a second to tell you about the possibility of the Gaming Nation group forming a guild or a clan in Tera Online. If you think that'd be an awesome idea, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit up the Facebook page to join in if we get that done. I think that would be really awesome to be able to hang out with you guys as well as, interact inside of a game itself. So please let us know what you guys think. And guys, thanks again for watching.